Good morning and welcome to Coach's Corner, live from Hardy's on this gorgeous Saturday morning. A little crisp out there, but boy, it's going to be a beauty this week, and get out there and enjoy it. Of course, the fishing derby going on today, and all that action, and they couldn't ask for a better day. It looks like the clouds are going to come over a little bit later on this afternoon, so you won't have to deal with all the glare off the snow and the ice, but I'm sure a lot of people would take it either way. You're not going to get a better day, so if you were doubting yourself on where the weather was going to be, it looks like it's going to be a dandy one for the fishing derby. Busy night last night, of course. Coming back from Duluth last night, and the Bronco hockey team season came to an end last night at Amsoil Arena in the Section 7A semifinals with a 6-0 loss to the number one team in the state, Hermantown. The Hawks scored just 32 seconds into the hockey game as they controlled the play throughout the entire first period. They led 3-0 after one. The Broncos came out in the second period, played a much better game. It was much more even, I would say, and then Hermantown got a couple of late goals in the last 6 minutes of the second period to make it 5-0. Hermantown would get their final goal with just over a minute remaining, and the final score 6-0. The boys played, I think, like I said, I think in the first period, and we said this last night on the radio, I think they came out in a little bit of awe of the big place. UMD watched Hermantown and went, wow, can these guys skate? And by the time they got their feet underneath them, it was a little bit too late. The Broncos end their season with a 13-12-1 record, and they will lose 9 seniors to graduation. GNK in the second semifinal last night, they got completely outplayed in the first, I'll say 20 to 25 minutes of the hockey game, but Virginia could only find a 1-0 lead, and then Greenway Nashwauk Keewatin got the last 5 goals of the game, and they win 5-1. So it's Hermantown versus Greenway, Wednesday night, Amsoil Arena, 7:30 to go to the state tournament. The Bronco boys basketball team, I've heard lots about this game from last night. Wish I could have been there because it was a dandy. More than one person has told me that it was the best game the Broncos have played all year that they've seen, that it was a great ball game. The Broncos were actually down 34-31 at halftime to Deer River. They come away with a 75-75 win in their regular season finale. Armando Barrios had 27 to lead the Broncos, and Taylor Wilson poured in 7 threes in the basketball game. He had 25 points to support Barrios and the rest of the team. The Broncos now finish the regular season 9-16, and they'll next play on Tuesday, March 6th, not next Tuesday, the following Tuesday. That was when they'll play their playoff game, and it looks like that's going to be a road game, probably at Mesabi East, but we'll wait and see. But it looks like it's going to be a road game for the Broncos that night in the round of 16 of the Section 7-2A playoffs. The individual wrestling tournament for the Section 7-2A got started yesterday in Malacca. Noah Mathis was down there wrestling at 195 pounds. He went 1-1. He got a 7-2 decision in his first match and then got pinned in the third period of his second match. He'll continue to wrestle today. He'll have at least one match, but a possible of 2. Could get as high as 3rd place, could finish as low as 6th place. So Noah Mathis there in the 195-pound division. Chris Berry at 152 pounds lost both of his matches yesterday as he had his season come to an end. There are 3 Titan wrestlers, GNKIF wrestlers, that are actually wrestling for the championship at 160, 170, and 182 pounds. And if you want to follow along with that, and that's your deal, go to theguillotine.com. They actually have got all the brackets up. You can kind of watch. They kind of update things, and you can click on certain matches and watch the live scoring. I mean, you don't get to see live wrestling, but you get to see the live scoring. Little Fork Big Falls Viking boys basketball team took on North Holm-Kellier last night, and the Mustangs downed the Vikings by a final score of 62-27. Fort Francis boys hockey was in Kenora yesterday afternoon, and they got it their 2-game sweep over St. Thomas Aquinas in that best-of-3 series with a 5-0 win. Cole McGill, Cole Allen, Caleb Breer, Eric Pitkinen, and Kendon Farragher scored as Darian Clem got the shutout in net. They will either play Beaver Bray or Sioux Lookout in the best-of-3 finals coming up starting on Thursday. And I would guess there's a high probability that I will be sitting in Ice for Kids Arena that night bringing you Game 1 of that Norwassa final. The Fort Francis Muskie girls also clinched their semifinal series in 2 games as they beat Beaver Bray 18-0 yesterday. Jenna Clendenning and Cece Hayes both had hat tricks in the win. The Fort Frances girls will open their finals, the best of 3, on Wednesday at Ice for Kids Arena, and they will either be taking on St. Thomas Aquinas out of Kenora or Dryden. The Lakers were at home last night. They got a 5-1 win over English River and has goals scored by 5 different players as Ishmael Ralston stopped 35 of 36 shots in goal. Of course, the state hockey tournament is going on for girls, so let's get you caught up there. In the consolation of AA, Lakeville beat Hill Murray, who was the number 3 seed coming in. So Hill Murray, number 3 seed, loses twice. Lakeville South wins 4-1. In the other AA consolation final, Andover 4-3 over Brainerd in overtime. In the AA semifinals, Centennial, the number 2 seed, 6-1 over Egan. And in the other one, Edina, the number 1 team, defending state champions, they beat Eden Prairie 4-2. In the Class A semifinals, War Road, number 1 seed, they beat Alexandria 7-1. Breck 6-0 over Proctor Hermantown. So those 2 teams will play for the state championship coming up at noon today. Proctor just got underway in the in the third place game, against Alexandria. In the consolation semifinal in Class A, Red Wing will take on St. Paul United. Red Wing, was number 1 in the QRF for much of the year, and they'll be playing as they lost on Wednesday in the quarterfinals. Of course, in AA, Edina gets Centennial 1 versus 2 in the AA matchup at the XL Energy Center. In boys basketball last night in the area, just a smattering of games. Ely 64, Southridge 49. Everett Gilbert 79-76 over Big Fork. Hill City loses to Greenway 62-23. Northwoods 77, Chisholm 46, and Esco 59-56 over St. Cloud Cathedral. In girls basketball last night, Grand Rapids 82, Thief River 64. In that game, Grand Rapids scored 58 points in the first half. Just one of those games that you just don't know what's going to happen. Two Harbor 76-26 over Renshaw. MIB looking to ramp up their schedule. They head to the cities to take on Heritage Christian. They come away with a 6-point win at 71-65. In girls basketball, Ely also beats Southridge there 67-54, and Moose Lake Willow River loses to Proctor by a score of 76-48. College hockey last night, the men in the Big Ten, Ohio State 6-2 over Wisconsin. Notre Dame 6-3 over Michigan State. Penn State down the Gophers by a score of 5-1. UMD all over Western Michigan last night, 8-0. Number 3 Denver, number 1 St. Cloud State get a 1-1 tie. Omaha 4, Colorado College 2. Miami defeats North Dakota in overtime 4-3, and Mankato down BSU 2-1. In women's hockey, the WCHA playoffs already getting started in the 4-5 matchup. Bemidji State beats UMD, who was the home team, played right before the Broncos played last night at Amsoil. BSU wins that one 2-1. Minnesota beats St. Cloud State 5-1, and Ohio State 6-0 over Mankato State. The Minnesota Timberwolves last night, they lose to the Houston Rockets 120-102, but that might be the least of the worries for the Minnesota Timberwolves, as Jimmy Butler may have sustained a season-ending knee injury. I heard some bad stuff. I heard some good stuff. We'll see how Jimmy Buckets is doing. The MRI comes out today, and I'll be looking for a tweet coming across my phone later on today to find out how Jimmy is doing. The Minnesota Wild, what a week they had as they were out in New York, as they come away with a sweep of the 3 teams in that area, as they got a 4-1 win over the Rangers last night. Eric Stahl and Mikhail Granlund each scored a pair of goals in the win. Minnesota Twins got their first game against a Major League Baseball team last night. They beat the Gophers 2-1 on Thursday. Last night they lose 4-3 to Boston. It was 4-1 heading into the top of the ninth. The Twins scored twice, but could not come away with the win. Olympics. I got to tell you, folks, after I got home last night from Duluth, the TV went on. The men's curling gold medal match got started. I made it through about an end and a half, and then, of course, fell asleep. And then the gods of whoever looked upon me, and I woke up just as the 8th end was starting. It was 5-5, tied with the United States having the hammer. And Schuster comes away with a 5 in the 8th end. One of the most exciting things I don't think I'll ever forget. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're looking at the TV in complete and utter disbelief. And the United States wins the gold medal by a final score of 10-7. John Schuster, who a week ago we were ready to throw into the proverbial fire and let him burn there, comes away and comes home with the gold medal. It was absolutely, utterly amazing. Bronze medal for Canada in men's hockey this morning. That game just completed. They win by a score of 6-4 over the Czech Republic. What's going on today locally? Well, we mentioned that the wrestlers are continuing. Noe Mathis is in Malacca. The Bronco boys swimming and diving team have their finals and diving prelims. The diving prelims go off at 11 o'clock. All the finals begin at 3 o'clock. Those going on at the Hibbing High School pool. So if you want to head down there and watch the Section 6A finals, please do so. The Rainy River men, they're at home against Fond du Lac at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Note the time change. No women's game at 1 o'clock, so they kind of cut the difference. That game is going to be at 2 o'clock. This game could decide whether the Voyagers are Northern Division champions. They are tied with Northland at 11-2 record, but the Voyagers beat Northland both times, and so it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. The women, their regular season is completed. They're going to get a coin flip tonight to decide maybe if they're the Northern Division champions and going to get to host the region tournament next Saturday. So stay tuned for that. Preston will have all the news on Saturday morning regarding that. The Minnesota Timberwolves are at home tonight versus Chicago at 7 o'clock, and the Twins tomorrow will be on the airwaves on K104. The pregame will, short pregame will start at noon, and the Twins will be taking on Tampa Bay. That game at 12:05 tomorrow on K104. The Gopher men's basketball team tomorrow, they will be on at Purdue. The Big Ten tournament starts on Wednesday. If you didn't hear about this, they moved the tournament up a week so that they could have it at Madison Square Garden in New York, and then the tournament's not for another week and a half, 2 weeks after that. Just crazy. They made a mistake, and the Big Ten commissioner admitted as much this week that they made a mistake doing this. The Gopher women's basketball team is at Illinois tomorrow, and their regular season finale, their Big Ten tournament, also starts on Wednesday. What's up with our former Broncos? Amy Orrin last night in the WIAC semifinals against Stevens Point. She scored a goal in a 9-0 win. They got to play game 2 today as well. Lexi Edwards with Sacred Heart, they got a 6-0 win in their playoff quarterfinals on Wednesday night. They play Holy Cross today in the semifinals. In track and field, indoor track and field, all the conferences are having their championships this week. Lexi Erickson with St. Catherine's down in the cities. She got 10th place in the high jump last night as she went 5-1 3/4, which is a very good jump, but that was just good enough for 10th place. Brianna Schaffner in the UMAC championship, she takes 2nd place in the long jump, 16 feet 10.5 inches, not too shabby. Taylor Hebner and Savannah Olson are at the NSIC championships in Mankato. Wyatt Helgeson with the St. Scholastica team. Helgeson was named the UMAC Men's Field Athlete of the Week as he took 3rd place in the pole vault and took 6th place in the high jump last week. He took 4th place in the conference championship in the high jump yesterday. Pole vault to go off today. Sydney Radboyne with UND. She's down in Flagstaff for their conference championship. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk Bronco girls basketball. You're listening to Coach's Corner, live from Hardee's on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. Welcome back to Coach's Corner, joined by the Bronco girls basketball team, head coach Jay Boyle and Jenna Sullivan, Janet Humbert, Grace Gilbert joining me here. And Coach, you might as well give him the mic. We'll start there. I know you guys want to chat, but we'll start with Coach. And Coach, the regular season has come to an end, but I think we're all feeling a lot better about where the girls are sitting at right now with the way the way the season ended.
Yeah, we've been playing some very good basketball as of late. We had we were down a player when we played Proctor on a Friday night. We had a lot of Friday, Saturdays here in February.
Yeah, but we're going to talk about that. Don't let me forget.
Okay. But played very well against Duluth Marshall. Got a big win against the team that's going to end up with the number 2 seed on our section. And the girls had a good showing against Roseau the next Friday. Had to have 4, and even losing to 17. Roseau is a very, very good basketball team, the returning state champions. So they played a heck of a game. I wasn't able to be at that one. I was sick. But the next day we went down, got another good win against CI, who I think is going to end up either the number 2 or the number 3 on the other subsections. So, and then good games this week against Warroad and Deer River. Beat Deer River by 11 earlier this season and 30 on Thursday night. So yeah, we finished the season very strong here and are ready to make our playoff run.
Was the Friday-Saturday thing in February a conscious decision or just the way things worked out?
Well, the Friday, you always want to play those long games on a Friday, preferably, or a Saturday. Next case,
Sure,
in my opinion, it's tough to go to CI and on a Tuesday night and come back and get into class on Wednesday and get ready for a game on Thursday and things like that. So, I think it's just the nature of the teams we're playing. Proctor, Marshall, Roseau, and Crosby, those are some of our biggest hikes. So they fell on Fridays and Saturdays. We're looking at changing some things for next year, doing some other things too, but that's how it fell in the end.
So I'm going to ask the whole group, did anybody hear what Emma said in the post-game interview on Thursday night?
No.
No? Well, I said this to her as she came up, and I said it on the air during the game. I talked about this team being the most loose, looked the most relaxed I've seen this team all season on Thursday night before the game. And to me, it's parents' night. It's very emotional, all these other things. But this team looked totally relaxed to me. And I kind of like, well, what's going on? Are they, what's the word? Because this is a team they only beat by 11 points, and it's parents' night and all this other baloney going on in the end of the season and the emotions and everything else. And so Emma comes up, and I said, why were you guys so relaxed? And sees how none of you have heard it, I'll tell you what she said. She said, I'm going to attribute it to one thing. And she said, when Coach Boyle was gone for that Roseau game, we, the girls, the team, we had to pick it up, and we had to start taking responsibility for what this team is doing. So if there's ever a time, Coach, that you feel like your team's not succeeding, I suggest that you take a night off.
I said that to them, actually, when I got back and I heard about how well they had been talking on the court, which is something that I've been begging them for years to do. I looked at them, I said, so the only thing I had to do to get you guys to do what I've been asking you to do for years is not show up one night?
Who knew it could be that simple, Coach? Jenna, do you agree with Emma's assessment? And I'm probably going to give all three of you a chance to answer because it struck me, and it still is. This is 36 hours later or more, and it's still sticking with me, that comment. And I don't know if I'll ever forget it. It's interesting.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with Emma. I think Boyle has a loud voice, and it carries across the court with wonders. So I think because he wasn't there, we had to talk and communicate and just make sure everybody was on the same page.
Coach, does that mean you're going to stop talking as much?
No, I think it just means we're going to be all that much better because we're all going to be communicating better now.
Janet, how about for you?
Yeah, I agree with Jenna. I think we self-evaluated it well. We were all together and we played really well as a team.
Grace, your sister spoke well.
Yeah, she did. I think that because Boyle was gone, we all had to speak more, so everybody did it, even though we usually don't, and I think it helped a lot.
So I'm going to ask the question this way then. So it happened in the Roseau game. Coach comes back now for a couple of games, 3 games actually since then. Has the talking continued on the floor? I mean, has it continued to be that way?
I think it's continued, but probably just not as much as it did in the Roseau game. For sure on defense, though.
Jenna?
Yeah, I'd agree. I think the first game Boyle came back, I think it was kind of less talking, I guess, that time. Because it was oh, he's back. We don't have to talk as much. And it was just give him the same work. And so then we started to talk again more.
The game, let's talk about the Deer River game from Thursday night because that was the one that I've been at. I was allowed to come back after being told that maybe I should stay away. But I don't know if you guys realize, but the first 5 games in 2018 that I did on the radio, you guys lost all 5 of those games. Not that they weren't all big against big teams, but after you guys beat Marshall, Coach Boyle kind of put a kind of a ban on me that I may not be allowed back to your guys' games and those kinds of things. This is joking, people, but he it was a serious point. You guys took a big lead on Thursday night, and then all of a sudden Deer River kept creeping in there and just hanging in. What the heck was going on, Jenna? What Janet? Jenna doesn't want to answer this. Janet, what the heck was going on? Why couldn't you guys bury him in the first half?
Well, I think our defense was working well, but they got a couple tough players. They got Hope Shankin. She drains the 3. I think she came through big. Couple shots that night. So I think it was tough, but I think we worked well with it.
That's a very good answer, Janet. That was the answer I was looking for because they did hit some big shots. They made 5 threes in the first half. What was kind of the difference, Grace, maybe in the second half? Because you guys were able to pull away. And this team, I'll put it this way. You're one of the big three-point shooters. This team likes to shoot three-pointers. I think you guys only made 3 three-pointers in the entire game.
Our points haven't been coming in as much from the 3-ball in the last few games as they have. So I'm hoping though that that's something that we're going to be able to put together in our next few games, is the inside game and the outside game. Because it's not that we haven't been taking all the shots, but I've been extremely happy with what we've been getting done with our movement inside and our cutting to the basket, and that's something that's going to make a huge difference on Thursday night against Virginia.
It's a conscious effort, though. I mean, this is something that Coach has been talking about and saying we need to go to the bucket more. Is he saying that, or is he just giving me the coach speak, Grace?
I think he's just giving us the coach speak. We're not not shooting the 3-ball as much. We're just looking to push inside more, and it's working out well for us.
All right, let's talk about the playoff game coming up, the Virginia Blue Devils. And this is a team that you guys beat early in the season at home by 10, 62-52, if I remember right. That's way back in December. That's like a lifetime ago or something. And, of course, we could sit and belabor the point about the game down in Virginia a few weeks ago, the 50-49 losses. They make 1 of 3 free throws with no time on the clock. But it sounds like we're going back to Virginia, a time to exercise the demons. Can I say, Jenna, that we're going to go down there, and that game that happened 3 weeks ago is going to be put out of our memories forever?
Yeah, I'm not going to foul with 1 second left on the clock.
Okay, geez, this is that's like a beach. Did you follow her?
I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch it back. There was a lot of adrenaline. I don't think I did, but I'm known for fouling. So.
Well, you have a reputation.
She made it way closer than it should have been.
She was too close. Don't follow the 3-point. And I'll say it this way. I was kind of like straight on, like Lexi was between you and me when you whatever, and I'm like, I don't think you touched her, but that's neither here nor there. It's water under the bridge now, and we're going to go on. What is it about Virginia that makes them so competitive with you guys?
Maybe the 6'2" girl.
6'2" girl? Huh? That helps, but that's one player,
yeah.
Right?
I think
she's good, but it's just not her, right?
No, I think they're very quick also.
Yeah, there's also the 6-foot girl.
Yes. Don't we have a 6-foot girl?
No.
She's only
5'10".
She's only 5'10". Oh, I must be getting shorter then as
I think our personalities and our strength make up for make people think we're bigger than we actually are.
That's an interesting thought. Okay, I'll let you finish. We've been talking over you now. Jenna, go finish this thought. The 6'2" girl and...
Oh, I think they're just very quick in general. They got really good shooters, and they have a decent press. So I think just beating that and sticking to our game, teams tend to get us in a kind of like into a haze, I guess. Like we start playing their game, playing to their level instead of ours. So as long as we can continue to play our game, I think we won't have a problem with it.
Emma said Janet will be back on Thursday night as well when we play Virginia, that we didn't have her when we were down there last time. She said that's going to make a big difference in the ball game. Janet, you kind of feel like that's the way things are going to work out on Thursday night?
Yeah, I hope I'll make a big difference.
Yeah, she basically said, as I said, we were talking about it, she said, well, you remember Janet wasn't at that game, right? And I'm like, you know what? She's right about that. You got to have all the gears there, right, to make things happen. Okay, let's look beyond that. Who's sitting out there as the number 1 seed? Do you guys know?
Proctor,
the number 1 seed. That would look like that would be the team that we would be playing on Saturday at 2:30 next week if all things fall into place as we hope and think that they're going to. What do you remember about the Proctor game, Grace?
It was a really good game. I thought we should have come on top of that one, but they're a good team. They're very versatile, so we're just going to have to play hard.
What's maybe the one thing that they do so well? You say they're versatile. They can do a lot of things, but is there one thing maybe, Janet, that they do better than that really has you guys going to need your focus? Again, if we get that far.
I think they shoot really well, so I think our new defense might work out really well with that, but we just got to play hard.
I enjoyed the junk defense the other night, Coach. I will say that. The girls, and I don't know if you're working on disguising it, but I thought they did a great job of disguising that it was a mixture of man and zone, because there were a lot of times when it was kind of like, are they in complete man this possession? You couldn't quite tell, so that's a good sign. But I know Proctor
That just means that we're playing it right.
Yeah, I know Proctor, we've already talked about the fact that rather than having 2 really good players, Proctor has 3 pretty good players that you have to worry about, and that changes things up a little bit.
It does, and they have more than 3 good players, but what makes it tough in the junk is they have 3 good shooters, because anytime you're going to be in that zone and try to take away their bigs in the middle, someone's going to end up with some open looks at the baskets. So, it is gonna come down to that. But like you said, as far as making it look of whether we're in a zone and man, we've been stressing that even with our girls in the zone, we still got to be smart and aware and know who we're leaving open, know who we have to close out on, and who we need to stay in against. And I think the girls have been doing a very good job of that mental part of the game lately.
Coach, ladies, thanks for being here this morning. Wish you best of luck coming up on Thursday and hopefully on Saturday and hopefully the following Wednesday and maybe the following Friday. When let's make a run. Let's have a good end of February and early March. Head coach Jay Boyle, Jenna Sullivan, Janet Humbert, and Grace Gilbert joining us. We'll take a break and we're going to continue talking about girls basketball as the Little Fork Big Falls Vikings will be coming in for our next segment. Don't go away. You're listening to Coach's Corner live from Hardee's on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. Welcome back to Hardee's for our third segment of Coach's Corner. We're joined by the Little Fork Big Falls Viking girls basketball team, head coach Mason Imhoff and Kate Knabel and Emily Franz joining me as well. And Coach, you've got 1 regular season of girls basketball underneath your belt. How did it go?
It went pretty well. It was a lot of fun overall. We started out 1-8. And so that was an adjustment right away.
You remember the record, huh?
I remember that. We started out 1-8. My first game, we were in Big Fork, and that was a welcome to girls basketball. But we were at 1-8, and we talked before practice one day, and I said that one of my goals was to hit double digits in the win column, and I thought we could do that. And last Thursday, we were able to do that, so I was very happy about that. Overall, though, it was a fun first year. The season's not over, though.
5-game winning streak just here a few weeks ago, and you had a little hiccup against Cass Lake Bena, a 4-point loss. Otherwise, it would have been 7 in a row. Yeah. Emily, we talked after the Northeast Range game. Who did I was it you?
Yeah.
Well, there was a whole group of you. And you guys talked about, I think, mentioned, and it sticks in my head this way, Emily, you talked about how things were coming together for this team. You guys were learning with Coach. He was learning about you guys. You were learning about him. Did that really just kind of come into play in how well you guys have played in February?
Yeah, for sure. We definitely have grown as a team, both with our, a record, obviously, and kind of like how we treat each other. And what am I trying to say here? Kind of just like how we've grown so much together. We're really just like a family, and I think, the better you get along with your teammates, the better you're going to play.
I think that could be proven that if you like your teammates,
you're going to play.
You're going to play a little bit better.
We all respect each other and want each other to do well. So
there was a big game last Tuesday night. I do want to talk about this a little bit with Northwoods. Basically, whoever won that game was going to avoid the play-in game on Monday night. The other team was going to get to wait until Wednesday night to play. Kate, what kind of game was it? Because I wasn't there, but it was very, very close. I think 70-61 was the final. Yep. Is that right? Talk a little bit about what you remember about the game, Kate.
It was pretty physical. It was really scrappy and stuff. They fought really hard for rebounds, and they just all the little stuff. They're fighting hard for every play. And then I think we kind of had some turnovers and didn't quite handle the pressure as well as we could have.
It's one of those games, Coach, that do you feel like you can learn from that game and use that even in the upcoming week here? As you guys play Northeast Range on Monday, it looks like, and then of course you're going to get your hands full on Wednesday if you make it through Monday.
Yep. Going back to Northwoods, I think anytime you shoot 33% from the free throw line, you're going to struggle at one. I think that
she wouldn't mention that.
No, but it was very important. I think it was a deciding factor. Free throws decide a lot of games.
Yeah.
Not every game, but it definitely had a factor in that game. And Northwoods, pretty good team. We also had opportunities to win. And we didn't take advantage of those, especially at the free throw line. So that's something we look to improve upon for sure.
Monday night, you guys get Northeast Range, a team that I did the game against at the end of January. You guys were in control the entire game. So you would think that, and I'm not trying to be whatever here, but you would think that that's what's going to happen on Monday night as well. So is it something where, because of the nature of the game, that gives you an opportunity to kind of try to do some things, or do you just at this point of the season say, look, we've got everything in that we need to do. We're just going to go out and play our game, make sure that we work on the stuff that we've been working on, and kind of fine-tune and make sure that we're ready for Wednesday night?
I think that's how you have to start it. In playoffs, though, anything can happen, and you have to attack each game that it might be your last game, because it can be, So going into it, you got to work on the stuff we've been working on in practice and over the last couple of games, and then you have to be able to adapt on the fly, because things can happen quick, especially in the playoffs. So I think we're a team that we can do that, though.
Talk about one of your guys' teammates that you kind of feel has stepped up during the season, because I don't get to watch you guys a lot. I probably have seen you play 3 times this season. Talk about somebody maybe a little bit younger, or maybe somebody who maybe was getting maybe less minutes last year but has had to contribute and kind of made a big contribution and kind of sticks out in your head, Emily.
Emily Fairchild, for sure. She's not a big scorer, but she's very dependable. She's our best defensive player. She's just someone that you can always count on, that she'll go in there and do her job. She's an aggressive player. She works hard, and she never really gives up. So I'd say she's definitely stepped up as a sophomore.
Kate, you're agreeing with that? Is there somebody else that kind of comes to mind as you're looking at it? And, you guys are talking about bringing this team together. Maybe somebody who doesn't even maybe play a whole bunch. Maybe it's somebody who tells a good joke and keeps everybody loose and comfortable and whatever else, and kind of keeps everything on an even keel.
I guess I'd have to say my sister,
Yeah?
Natalie.
Yeah?
I guess she didn't play a lot before, but I don't know, you can always count on her to play hard, and she's pretty scrappy little thing. And then, when she's on, she can shoot pretty good too. So
it's interesting, and I ask about somebody telling a good joke, because at the Bronco game against Virginia that we talked about in our previous segment, it was 49-49, no time on the clock. Aarons had missed the first 2 of possible 3 free throws, and Coach Boyle called the timeout, and so they brought him over. It was a 30-second timeout, and I talked to their coach after the game, and he said this to me. I said, "What'd you say to her in the huddle?" He said, "I didn't say a word to her. They came into the huddle, and I said, 'Who's got a good joke?' And he said, 'A girl who hardly plays but is at practice every day, came up with a joke. Everybody giggled, laughed. She went on the floor and nailed it.' Sometimes you need those kids on the team to keep everything kind of going in the right direction." And is that Natalie? Yeah.
She can her too.
Yeah. So we got Big Fork probably coming up on Wednesday night down in Hibbing. Hibbing at the Memorial Building, or Hibbing at the high school, or Hibbing at the elementary school? I didn't even look.
It's the Memorial Building.
Is it at the Memorial? You'd believe so. Okay, so the Big Fork Huskies, number 2 seed coming out of the northern half of subsection 7. You guys have already played them twice, probably one of your biggest rivals. What is it about them that makes them so good?
I would say that they have a really solid 5. I think they've been playing together for a long time. They're fast. They have very good defense. They put the pressure on early, and they're used to forcing turnovers and getting out and running a little bit. And they're good, Hopefully we take care of business on Monday. I believe that we will. But going and playing Big Fork, I think it gives us an opportunity, because if you look at it, you're going to have to face a team like that no matter what in the playoffs if you want to go anywhere.
You said that's the Memorial Building, Emily. I'm going to believe that. Okay,
I'm pretty sure.
You're right. We're gonna play that. We're gonna play the game that you're right, because you are. Anyway.
Thank you.
Of course, you play at the Memorial Building. It's a little different basketball game, because you don't play in gymnasiums that have that much space in the background, and it makes it very difficult to shoot the basketball from long range. Big Fork likes to shoot the 3, yes?
They do. Yeah, absolutely.
So is it something that you guys go into the game plan thinking, well, we know that maybe we want to go inside, we like to do that, that maybe gives us an advantage over them? Or is it something that maybe they can do both? I mean, maybe they shoot the 3, because I haven't seen them play this year. Maybe they shoot the 3 and can go inside. So, Emily?
Yeah, they definitely can do both. All they do is play basketball. And like Coach said, that they've all been playing together forever. They have like 5 girls that are all 1,000-point scorers, so you know that it's probably going to be a pretty solid foundation when that many girls can get on the banner. So, yeah, I think we'll really just have to come out prepared. Obviously, we've seen them twice before, so we know what they can do.
You think you guys could sneak a 6th player on the floor, get that past the referees, kind of help them? Have a girl playing an all-time zone to kind of help out. Maybe they wouldn't notice. Who knows?
You never know.
You never know. It's one of those games that do you kind of go in and you've learned maybe something from the first 2 games though that you can apply and hope that you can slow them down.
Sure, yeah, and I think going into it, you're not going to. My message is going to be don't worry so much about the result as long as you can walk off the court and say you have 0 regrets. And I think that's really important. You want to go and you want to give a good team like Big Fork your best shot. And if you can walk out the door and say, you know what, we left it all out there, we have 0 regrets. That result is not as important if you can say that.
Can't do any better than that. We're going to end it right there, folks. That is well said, and I think we said that about the Bronco hockey game last night, and I think that's what I hope we're trying to teach our kids. Go out there and lay it on the lines. That's the best we can do. Coach, thanks for being here. Mason Himoff, Kate Knabel, Emily Franz. Best of luck. I'll see you guys Monday night.
All right.
Don't leave me hanging for a post. Don't leave
me
leaving for a post game interview. We wish you guys the best of luck coming up here. We'll take another break. We'll come back with the final segment of Coach's Corner. You're listening live on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. Welcome back to Coach's Corner for our final segment. Joined by Evan Omdahl here, who's been sitting around listening to the whole show, and asked him if he wanted to come on and talk about something. And you said, yeah, I'd like to come on and talk about the fishing derby. What's on your mind?
I'm going to head out there, and I hope as many people can get out and enjoy this phenomenal, fantastic day. Behind you is the local on the 8th, and it says it's only 6 degrees out, but it's going to warm up.
Well, it was -7 when I got here an hour ago, so that's 13 degrees. You know that the weather is coming along, and it's supposed to be, I saw maybe 40 during the week coming up.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is high 30s, so that's crazy.
We're going to take that. I'm going to admit something that probably is going to maybe make a lot of people cringe or go, what the heck? I've never been to the fishing derby. I've lived here for 24 years. I've never made it to the fishing derby. I'm not a fisherman.
Shame on you.
Yes, I'm not a fisherman.
You don't have to fish.
I understand that.
Being around, people and, schmoozing and taking just.
I agree with you 100%, but it's also playoff time a lot of times, and so Tim's not always in town on this Saturday, and fortunately or unfortunately, I am in town this Saturday. But you talk about it. It's more than just fishing.
It is. It's getting outside, being around, other people that enjoy the outdoors. It's about promoting the Rainy Lake Sports Fishing Club and helping them.
Yeah.
$10, for a raffle ticket. And you can win some great prizes. I've won, fishing rods and all kinds of stuff, coolers, and it's one of those things where you go out and do it, support the community and the Sport Fishing Club that supports the community and everything that they do on our tremendous fishery out there at Rainy Lake.
I think I saw about 25 guys here this morning getting probably free breakfast as they were going out to get prepared and ready to go. You also wanted to talk about the hockey game from last night, and as your senior son got to end the game in goal.
He did. I mean, it showed a class act by the coaching staff to get him in, being a senior, sticking around. He didn't get to see a lot of time in between the pipes, but what he did, he was always giving his best, and he was a good leader and a good cheerleader on the bench, supporting his teammates. That's what the coaches look for. I know Coach Crazy. I ran into him at the rink as I was fixing a flat tire. And he said, "Don't be too hard on the kid. He's a good kid." And last night when he skated off the ice for the last time and handed a stick to a kid in the crowd, that is like, yeah, Crazy was right.
Crazy's right. He's got a big season coming up though. The pole vaulting coming right around the corner. A chance to go back to the state track meet. I know I've saw pictures of him already. He's been doing some time this winter in the pole vaulting. Is that a passion for him?
It is. He's very dedicated and very committed. Even after hockey practices, he'll go and work out. We don't have the mats out
Yeah.
yet, but he's been going down to Eden Prairie, getting some clinics, some coaching from the St. John's pole vault coach, which he used to coach at Eden Prairie. Eden Prairie High School, needless to say, when you have over 1,000 kids per grade,
Right.
they have a phenomenal facility. Their rec center / 6 basketball courts with a running track upstairs. They put out a mat and a runway, and they can run with their spikes. And there's some pretty good kids. Kid from Mounds View, name escapes me right now, did 15 feet as a sophomore.
Wow.
Won state. Last year he got second. Kind of didn't do what he needed to do, but
Sure.
he's also going to Nebraska, so he's a lot of potential. So there's a lot of good kids down there. Another really good kid from Mounds View that looks like he could do 13, 14 feet. So Mounds View's got a good program, and you're around those kids, and you're getting tips from the coaches, getting tips from the other kids. During Super Bowl, he was down there. With Jackson Germain also went down, so Jackson's been putting in some time too for getting ready for pole vault season.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be right around the corner. I think the first indoor track and field meet down at BSU, I think is a month from or 4 weeks from today. I think is that first weekend, because Easter's the following weekend, and it's right here.
I saw it. It was March 17th, maybe.
Okay, that's very possible. Could be the 24th. Yeah,
I looked and I did see it because I was looking at the different dates and being able to go down. I think I'm going to help out with the track program this year, and it'll be fun to be around all 3 of my kids that are competing in the track program.
I talking of spring sports, I was just looking. Rainy River softball's heading to Florida. They play like 9 games in Florida coming up, not next week, but the following week. It seems like it's gotten here too quickly, but we'll take it. That means the warm weather's coming.
Yeah, track officially starts like 2 weeks from Monday.
Yeah.
I was like, really?
Yeah.
We were talking about it on the ride to the game, to and from the game last night. It's like, I can't believe track starts 2 weeks away.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Winter season is coming to an end.
Thanks, Evan, for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Let's talk about the week that was. Let's go back to last Saturday. The Bronco girls basketball team was on the road at Crosby Arrington. They led by 10 at half. They had to hang on, and they won 63-58. The the Voyager women last week were hosting Mesabi Range after trailing 21-9 after the first quarter. They come back for an 82-73 win. Deja Monroe led the way with 24 points. The Rainy River men were never threatened in a 104-62 win over Mesabi Range, and Devarius Wright led 5 players in double figures with 15 points. The Fort Francis boys hockey team was wrapping up their regular season. Last weekend, they were on the road at Red Lake. They won 5-4 on Saturday and then traveled over to Sioux Lookout and won 5-4 on Sunday. The Lakers lost 5-4 in overtime to Dryden last Saturday night. Adam Withers had a pair of goals for Fort Francis. On Monday, the Lakers played a matinee at Ice for Kids Arena. They beat Minnesota 4-1 as Jaden Ness had a pair of goals in that win. The Bronco boys hockey team on Tuesday, they opened Section 7A playoff action on the road at the Heritage Center against Duluth-Denfeld. The Hunters opened up a 2-0 lead early in the second period before the Broncos would tie it on goals by Simon Palm. Another one of those goals I don't know if I'll ever forget in my mind. I can still see it just as vividly. Palm coming down the right-hand side and got a great pass and just flipped it up into the top of the net. And Trevor Beckvar got a goal just a few minutes later, so it was tied 2-2. It would end the second period that way, and the third period that way, and the first overtime that way. They come back out and resurface, and Jordan Smith came off the bench and tipped one into the zone, and Keaton Gonzalez got it past the goaltender for Duluth-Denfeld for a 3-2 double overtime win. Jake Clow was absolutely phenomenal in goal, stopping 44 of 46 shots. The Bronco girls basketball team got a convincing 74-29 win over Warroad on Tuesday night. Jenna Sullivan had 15 points. We talked about the LBF girls' loss to Northwoods on Tuesday night by a final score of 70-61, and the Viking boys lost to Mesabi East 97-50. Also on Tuesday, the Fort Francis girls opened their Nurwasa semifinals with a 14-0 win over Beaver Bray. Siobhan McIntosh had 4 goals in that game. On Wednesday, the game that you could have heard on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com, the Fort Francis boys hockey team opened their Nurwasa semifinals with a 4-1 win over St. Thomas Aquinas. The Rainy River women's basketball team had a chance to clinch the Northern Division title and host the Region 13B tournament. They are playing probably the second or third best team, depending upon who you want to talk to in the Northern Division. Hibbing beat them 75-70. That's going to cost cause the coin flip probably today to decide who's going to be the number one, they're going to draw names out of a hat. No coin flip. Who's going to be 1, who's going to be 2, who's going to be 3, and the number 1 seed will host the Region 13B tournament next Saturday and Sunday. The Rainy River men scored 61 points in each half in a 122-87 win over Hibbing on Wednesday night. Jesus Alfonso led the way with 26 points. Bronco boys basketball on Thursday, they were in Two Harbors. They won 76-57 as Max Olson scored 25. The Bronco girls basketball team, we talked about this 61-33 win over Deer River. Emmerich Gilbert had 19 points in that win. The Bronco boys swimming and diving team was down south at Hibbing for the prelims of the Section 6A swimming meet. Alex Bellinger, second place in the 100 fly, 7th in the 50 free. Jake Slatinsky, 8th in the 500 free. The 200 medley relay took 8th, and the 400 free relay took 6th. Of course, the diving prelims go off at 11 a.m. this morning, and then the finals in swimming and diving at 3 o'clock. The Viking girls were very victorious on Thursday night in Cloquet. They beat Fond du Lac 58-30. Last night, the Bronco boys hockey team, they lose 6-0 to Hermantown in the Section 7A semifinals to end their regular season. The Bronco boys basketball team wins 77-75 over Deer River in their regular season finale in a heck of a ball game. Noah Mathis goes 1-1 yesterday at the Section 7A individual wrestling meet. He'll wrestle again today for a possible finish of third place. Chris Berry got beat in both of his matches yesterday in the semifinals. The Fort Francis hockey teams both wrapped up their Norwassa semifinals, so they're both into the finals. The girls start on Wednesday. The boys start on Thursday. Let's talk about what's coming up today. Rainy River men, 2 o'clock at home. They'll be taking on the Fond du Lac Thunder, as that game is at 2 o'clock. Monday, I'll be in Little Fork. The Viking girls taking on Northeast Range in the opening round of the Section 7A playoffs. On Tuesday, the LBF boys, they'll be taking on Black Duck on Tuesday night. The Lakers will be in Thunder Bay. On Wednesday, the Viking girls probably will be in Hibbing taking on Big Fork. Should be the way that it is. That game is at 7:15. We'll have it on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. The Fort Francis girls will have game 1 of their finals on Wednesday. On Thursday, Bronco girls will get their playoffs started at Virginia. Also, the Fort Francis boys will have their game 1 at home at Ice for Kids Arena. If I have my thoughts about how that's going to go, we'll have both of those games on the air for you on Thursday night. The Viking boys, they end their regular season at home against Chisholm on Thursday. On Friday, if the region men's tournament, Region 13 tournament for the Rainy River men gets started, the Voyagers will be in that tournament. It's down in the cities, I believe, at Anoka Ramsey. I didn't look that up, but I believe that's coming up on Friday. The Fort Francis girls will have their game 2 on Friday, either in Kenora or Dryden. I think I'm going to be at that hockey game. Don't quote me, but I think that's the way it's going to be. And then next Saturday, of course, we could have quarterfinal basketball in the region tournament for the Broncos and or the Vikings. What else we got there? Well, the region men's tournament will be going on, and the Voyager women definitely will be in the Region 13B tournament. It's just a matter of where they are going to be playing. That's going to wrap it up. It's almost the 10 o'clock hour. We need to get off the air here for the news. Thanks to Preston back at the station for pushing all the buttons. Thanks to everybody here at Hardee's for taking care of our guests. And, of course, to Dave Peterson, who allows us to do this every Saturday morning. We certainly appreciate it. But most of all, thank you for listening to Coach's Corner, live from Hardee's on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com.